in New York. I was a college student. It's my first year of college. One of our deacons had a it was a huge carpet business. Actually, before the World Trade Centers were destroyed, I laid carpet in the World Trade. He had that contract. And I remember one day, the low guy in the totem pole, the low life, least seniority, we were the lunch brigade, okay? And so it was just understood at lunchtime that when it came time for everybody to order, that low guy on the totem pole went and got lunch for everybody while the rest of them just sat there and did nothing. So you spent your time getting everybody lunch, you really didn't get a break, and then you ate while they ate, but you were the low guy on the totem pole, so you were the one spending your time getting everybody's order while they're relaxing. Okay? The only problem was when they started to order. One guy says, I'll take this sandwich, and then I need, and he named a brand of cigarettes, and he said, I need a pack of that. And then a couple of them had also ordered alcohol. Now, I had just started this job. And it was a good job. It was an apprenticeship. So I could learn how to actually lay carpet on my own. And I fool around with it. I'm not good at it. You got to really know what you're doing. So I was about, probably a month to 2 months into this internship. And I got a knot in my stomach. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, what are you going to say? How am I going to deal with this? And it was like an overwhelming fear in me that I knew I couldn't go get it, and I wasn't going to go get it, but how am I going to tell them? And so finally I just said, guys, look. I said, I'll get any kind of drink and any kind of sandwich that you want me to, but I cannot buy your alcohol and your cigarettes. I said, I just can't. So, nothing was said. They acted like everything was cool. They respected my stand. I'm thinking, cool. The pressure's gone. Well, the deacon that owned the business, a Christian man, came in on Sunday morning. I led the music. I'd gone downstairs to get something. I was starting to come. We had, our church in New York was raised up, and there were stairs that went down. There were cement stairs, and you came up, and then you came to a landing, and then you had more stairs inside that came up into the auditorium. So I'm coming up that last set of stairs, and there that deacon meets me. And he lit into me. Not a lost man. A saved man lit into me. This is 5 minutes before the service was supposed to start. Great timing. Perfect for a wonderful spirit and for the Spirit of God to work in a service. He jumped me and he said, "Who do you think you are?" When you're asked on the job to go and get lunch, whatever they ask you to go get, you get. Now, I was 19. And as respectful as I could, without lighting back into him, I said, "If you don't like what I did, fire me right now. But I am not going to go get anybody's drugs." He said, well, they didn't ask you to go get drugs. I said, alcohol is a drug and cigarettes are a drug, and I'm not going to go get any of those things. So if you want to fire me now, because service is about to start. And he wouldn't do it. Because he knew I was the pastor's son, and he knew that he was probably going to be removed as a deacon. But guess what? We had just gotten married. And that was part of my livelihood, supporting my wife. And he just slowly but surely cut back my hours so I would quit. And God took care of us. I became assistant pastor. Went on staff full time, working in the church, working in the school. At an early age, I learned to take a stand. The fear of man bringeth a snare. You will be challenged. For young people, it's almost daily. You will have choices to make. Will I serve Christ? Will I serve Jesus? Or will I serve God? Will I be more concerned about my friends? Will I be more concerned about my family? Will I be more concerned about my boss at work? What will I do when I am put to the test and I will be challenged? And adults, you know, because you've been there, what will you do? You know, when we stand before God, the Bible says every man must give account of himself to God. We won't look to God and say, well, you know, God, I was worried about what they thought. God's going to say, I'm sorry, but I can't reward you for what I could have because you were more concerned about what they thought than me. Aren't you glad Joseph obeyed the Lord? Aren't you glad he got over his fear? Aren't you glad he set aside his fear so he could see and hear the voice of God? Don't let fear deter you from anything God asked you to do. Because it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks in the grand scheme of life. The only one that matters is God Himself. And what you are alone, and the decisions you make alone, are really what you are and what define you. Don't let fear of men be a snare. Let's stand. Doug's chosen a song of invitation. You let the